All right, here we go. Betting Weekly Live here with you on a Wednesday. Betting Weekly Studios, part of the Bet Rivers Network. Mike Carver here with you, along with Doug Kezirian, as we get ready to give you all the action for tonight. A big Game 5 in the World Series, tied 2 games apiece after the Blue Jays win last night. We got a huge night of NBA, only one hockey game, because why not? 16 games last night, only one game tonight. That's how the NHL loves to do it. We've got some college football, a lot happening. Doug, it is great to see you as always. And also, Doug, we need to continue the daily double streak, which hit 2 in a row last night. We got to keep that rolling.
Some Twitter follower appreciated it. Quoted my joke yesterday. Is like, hey, if we just keep winning this, we can retire. And hey, plus 250. I think the math holds. So let's just win these the rest of our lives, Mike.
And I love that Green came out because I don't think he had any in the first half. And he came out in the second half and it was boom, 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 and hit the 3 right out of the gate. And then we had to wait for the Islanders to pull the goalie with just under 4 minutes left in the third. And we got the empty netter there. And we got ourselves home on the daily double last night. And we're going to try to keep that going here tonight on Betting Weekly Live. Doug, why don't we, of course, start things off with the World Series, because Toronto, it was tough to gauge, right? We said this yesterday. You play an 18-inning game. It's a long night. You don't know how both teams are going to respond. You're the team that loses that game. It's got to be tough. But, man, the Blue Jays, they stepped up and kind of showed you what they've shown this entire October. They are not going to go away quietly in any situation.
That was my concern. That, like, if I wanted to get involved, the Dodgers, like Otani was great against the Brewers, but the Brewers also sucked. Um, So, I mean, they were like laid an egg all postseason, whereas these Blue Jays have delivered and they don't swing and miss and things like that. So, again, the Dodgers, a lot of tight games with the Phillies. Okay. Then the Brewers really didn't have any offense and the Dodgers were the better team. And then the Reds don't count. So, this is a team that was, I said before the series, I can't lay it. I do think they win. I still maintain that case. It's a big game today, but this is the pitching matchup where they lost game one, right? So, the Blue Jays are not going anywhere. I do think the injury to Springer is a factor, stuff like that. But the Dodgers, everyone looked drained last night, including Otani. So I just have some apprehension getting involved because the price is what it is.
It certainly is. And here is the price that we are going to be dealing with tonight in a game number 5 out in Los Angeles. We get our game 1 starters back in the mix. It will be Blake Snell. It will be Savage for Toronto, minus 225 for LA, plus 175 for the Jays. Another flat 8 with the total here. And of course, Doug, we always have to tell everybody 2-2, game 5, super important. We're not breaking any news here, but 67% of the time, the team that wins game number 5 goes on to win the World Series 31 out of 46 times, Doug. That has happened in the past in the Fall Classic.
So the Dodgers just released their starting lineup. They are mixing it up a little bit. Alex Call is going to play for Pajes. So Pajes gets yanked. He's been so ice cold. Will Smith batting second. Okay.
Ooh.
So then Mookie and Freddie slide down. So it's Mookie's going third now. Freddie's fourth. So Dodgers are going to go lefty, righty, righty, lefty, and then Teoscar Hernandez and Edman and Muncy. Then go, alternate, and then Kike Hernandez. So I would have considered putting Kike in the second spot instead of Will Smith. Not that Will Smith's been cold, but playoff Kike is lights out. But either way, the Dodgers are shaking it up. Their Pajes is not seeing the ball well, so they're going to yank him.
Yeah, that is interesting because they have, they are a team that runs really the same lineup all year long. And to see them make a little change like this, I was actually going to say to you today, I had a feeling that the 2 guys in the Dodger lineup that I would look to tonight to just have one of those moments, because they typically do, was either Kike Hernandez or Tommy Edman. Like, I feel like those are the 2 guys that one of them's going to have some huge hit tonight for the Dodgers. And I was kind of looking at their numbers, seeing if there was any way to go with them. The total bases for Edman kind of caught my eye a little bit, but one of those guys, we talk about Mookie and Freeman and Otani, but a lot of times, Doug, it's one of those guys at the bottom for the Dodgers that makes the hugest difference.
And to your point, the Dodgers don't mess around that much because they stick with the analytics and all that stuff. But maybe the analytics are saying you got to yank them too, right? Just with the matchup with the pitcher and things like that. I like that they're doing something. I like that they're doing something.
For me tonight, Doug, honestly, I think it's a Dodger night. And I know it's hard to go against the Blue Jays. They've been tough. They have fought back. I think that Snell is going to pitch really well. He's been great at home. 1.5 ERA at home this year. He's been excellent in Chavez Ravine. I think that it's going to make a big difference that the Dodgers are seeing Yusevich for the second time. Hadn't seen him before in game number one. Second time with him. It feels Dodgers for me. Now, this price for the run line's moved a little bit. Now it's minus 103 for the Dodgers, minus 1.5. But I think this is a nice, clean 5-1 win for the Dodgers tonight, and they get themselves back to Toronto, needing to win one of those two games this weekend.
I just can't get involved. I think baseball's so tricky. I'm very careful of picking my spots in baseball. I've had a good season. It's just I don't bet everything. And if you think about it, like there's a full card on a Saturday or Sunday. That's
Yeah.
15 games, right? You're going to make like three bets. Well, if there's one game, I'm not going to have a bet. So I do lean Dodgers here, but the price is the great equalizer. It's too much. Snell should bounce back, but you just never know. And Dodgers have the home team, and they have
Yeah.
obviously the hot bats with Freeman and Otani. I do think we had a fun time with some of those props with Otani. I wonder how they're going to handle it if, assuming it's a closer game than yesterday, because they did sort of punt on that experiment. And I thought that's part of the handicap. And that's what makes it so interesting, right? That's what makes this whole thing so interesting is that, they'll say one thing. Otani only had one walk. He only had one walk yesterday.
Yep.
That was off
And,
the gate right off the bat, right off the bat.
and that was the first. That was something else I looked at this morning because when we were talking about him with the stolen base last night, was it 240 or 270 right in that area?
75, yeah.
275, 350 tonight. So went up
Okay.
almost a full dollar because now it seems like they're going to pitch to him. But that's a big difference in price because you're
Yesterday,
right.
he was pitching, so
Yeah.
he's more likely to steal tonight, I would think.
I would think he's more likely to steal, but also I think the strategy with Schneider could turn on a dime, right? It could easily go back to the other night in the 18 inning game at any moment, right? Depending on the situation. Like I like that. It's jumping up to 350 tonight. You're going to be on base, and like you said, not pitching, giving him a chance maybe to run a little bit more. Maybe we can get Otani in there, stealing a bag this
Not a
evening.
bad idea. I do think, Schneider's like that guy on, 14 against a 3, like what he's doing at the blackjack table. Sometimes he's hitting, sometimes he's not. There's no real battle plan that's just consistent. So
I
I 3 something's pretty interesting. Now he has to hit singles if he doesn't get walked because he's hitting doubles and homers. So that's part of the equation too.
I never like playing blackjack with those guys, Doug. That's kind of like a get up from the table and kind of move over, find another one if I see
You have
somebody
to.
starting to do that. Bet Rivers tonight does have a special for you for this game. Hero time, Vladdy Jr. or Freddie Freeman to hit a home run in the Dodger Blue Jay Game 5, boosted from plus 175 to plus 200. So that is Hero time, Bet Rivers special tonight. If you would like to get involved with some long balls for you. Series price update right now, Doug. For the series 2-2, best of 3 now. Dodgers minus 195. Look at I got to jump in here. The Crooked Chef. You guys have done a great job lately. We love hearing that. Thank you so much there. I picked the Dodgers, but I respect the Jays. The Amish electrician is here as well today, always checking in. Sensational selections, gentlemen. Thank you. Needleman. Unreal daily double. Superb NCAA. All over. Even the college football was great last night, Doug. Did a great job with that.
Front door cover.
The front door cover. Dodger series minus 195. Jays plus 160. It's a best of 3. And I also kind of wanted to revisit your thoughts, Doug, on the World Series MVP now with 3 games to go. Is it just assumed it's Otani if the Dodgers win at this point? Because I just see the Yamamoto going now in what will be a pivotal game 6 potentially to shut the door if they win tonight. And he already has a complete game in this series, 15-1 for Yamamoto, or is it over with Otani?
So that's a great question because we've never seen this before, right? The Otani factor with the pitch. Now, when he pitched, he didn't pitch well and they lost. So is his bat that good? I think Yamamoto would worth the sprinkle. Freeman at 25-1, honestly. Now, the
I
game he hit the game-winning homer, I mean, Otani went yard twice and reached base all 9 times.
well, what if, like, let's just say, like, look, he's, I think, what's he, the only guy that has two walk-off homers in the World Series, like in separate World Series or whatever.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
just
it's
some
last
crazy
year, but
stat.
yeah.
What if, listen, it's not out of the realm of possibility. What if he has another walk-off homer tonight? Like, what if he has a walk-off hit tonight and he walks off two
Or he just
games?
rakes like 4 for 5 or something, you know?
I think out of that whole list, Yamamoto and Freeman, Doug, or at least there's some gas there. You got
I
somewhat
would
of a
agree.
chance. There's like
I
a
would
little
agree.
bit of
I
opening.
think that's I'd be a little reluctant on Yamamoto. Freeman, I would. Let me spin it to you this way. Let's say Otani has another monster game, but the Blue Jays win the World Series. Is there a chance Otani wins in a losing effort?
I think I saw today that's only the last time that happened, or maybe it's only once that's happened in baseball. It's in the 60s, I think was the last time or only time that it's happened. I think it was
Bobby
the
Richardson for the
Yankees
Yankees in
Pirates, right?
1960.
Yankees Pirates
1960.
Mazeroski Homer series. That's the only time. Now, look, I think it takes a special player, right, Doug, for you to do that. Like McDavid with Edmonton, 2 years ago when they lost to Florida. The
Right,
best
but
of the
that's
best.
isn't that for the entire playoffs?
That's true. You know what? Good point. Conn Smythe and NHL is the entire playoff, so a much different thing. I can't
I'm
give it
just
to a
saying it
losing
would be
player.
easier to do this
I can't.
if Otani, like, pitched well in a win, if he was just,
Yeah.
like, that impressive. Like, the fact that he only pitched 1 game and didn't pitch well, kinda like so it's about how big of I'm just saying, like, it's hard not to get the World Series. I mean, 1960 is a long time, and so if his pitching's not gonna become part of the equation, then really it's unlikely to happen.
I got to give it to a winner, especially when it's just for
I
the
do too.
series and not for the whole entire playoff. It's got to be someone who wins. So if the game five winners odds to win it all are better than minus 200, we fire based on the historical record there from Petey. Look, it's the game five winner has been that's 67%. The game five winner has gone on to win the entire thing for it. Who votes for World Series MVP? The media does it. Media does it. I don't know if there's any. I don't think there's any international, but I'm not sure who the exact voters are, Doug, for the MVP of the
Definitely
World
the
Series.
media. In the NBA finals, it's been 11 people.
Yeah, and they rotate that, right? They change the 11
Yeah,
people in the
yeah.
NBA finals every year. Very different. So it's tough. It's probably Otani, but I think we got a couple guys that can maybe
I
slide
like
through
your
the net.
Freeman. I think Freeman's the way to go.
Freeman, little fun with him. Get another walk off tonight, Freddie. Just try to do it.
Panel of sports writers, between 16 and 20.
Okay, so same kind of deal as the NBA. They'll put a couple different guys in there every single year. Also tonight, Bet Rivers World Series home run 50% bet match. Eligible players opt in and place a pre-match wager on any player to hit a home run to receive a 50% matched bonus bet to use on the game live. See the Bet Rivers app and website for full details. MLB World Series home run 50% bet match coming up this evening for a huge game number 5. All right, Doug, I know that will have a lot of the attention tonight, the baseball, but we got 10 games in the NBA, and you've been rolling with the NBA. So we got to get ourselves cooking here. 10 games on a Wednesday night. We do have the TV doubleheader on ESPN this evening, starting with the Cavs and the Celtics in Boston. Cavs -4 right now, 234 flat. First game of the night for us.
Boston team's interesting. Finally got off the schneid, got their first win. Now they had a couple losses to start, but those were pretty good competition, like facing Detroit and the Knicks. And so there's always like something a little off with Boston. They went and just hammered the Pelicans in New Orleans. I think this Cleveland team's pretty good. DeAndre Hunter's back after the first opening night. I think I lean to the Cavs here. I think they've tweaked their starting lineup a little bit. Minot's getting the start. Um, they're well coached, I think, but like Kate, his team's just a little off. And from last year, right? They obviously missed Jason Tatum. They obviously Miss Horford. They're tweaking their lineup. Luke Garza gets a little too much time for my liking.
Mm.
I think I have to take Cleveland here.
I think it's Cleveland for me as well. I was thinking about the total earlier, but I've kind of backed off that a little bit now. I think it's Cleveland or nothing for me tonight in this game in Beantown. What's the deal with Brown? Brown in tonight for the Celtics or not, Doug? I didn't hear. Is Brown playing tonight? I know he was kind of a questionable situation for
But to
Jalen
not
Brown.
realize if he's out, that certainly changes things. For me, I'd be all in on Cleveland.
NBA is tough, Doug. Sometimes you got to wait.
He's
You got to.
probable.
He's
He's probable
probable
with the
now, so
hamstring
they
injury.
moved him up to probable. So that's a good thing for you there. Second game, I feel like, and I know it's not. I feel like this is like already like the third national televised Laker. I think it's the second, but it feels like they've already played like 5 times. The Lakers and the T-Wolves tonight in Minnesota, -7.5 for the T-Wolves, 225 flat, just after 9:30 East. Second game on ESPN.
So this is interesting. Obviously, they met in the postseason. Luka was sick that weekend for game 3, game 4. They had a shot. LeBron in that starting lineup played the entire second half. So little payback here, but Ant's out, Luka's out, LeBron's out. So definitely a different vibe. I lean under 225. The T-Wolves have a lot of length, man, defensively. And I just think it's a really high number. We saw the Lakers be kind of flat offensively against the Blazers in that second game of a back-to-back. So now they're obviously don't have a back-to-back, but they're traveling. A little too high of a number when you're missing all that scoring with Luka, Ant, and LeBron. Now, I'm gonna have to take Reeves, the top scorer, Austin Reeves, who's had 51 and 41, the 2 games without Luka and LeBron. Top scorer of the game, -159. And obviously there's no Ant. Now, Randall could go off. Naz Reid could go off the bench. I don't think anyone from the Lakers. So if I like the under, and I just want to avoid Reeves' points prop of 29.5 at like -110, right? So do I like Reeves just over 29.5 at -110, or do I like Reeves at -159 to be the top scorer? Now, why don't we find juice that matches the 159, and then it would be worth it for Reeves. So that's from a points prop standpoint. So player points on the Bet Rivers app. Austin Reeves at over, so he's going up now. So now it's 30.5, but at 25 plus, which would be 24.5, is -375. So I think the right play is Reeves to be the top scorer. Now, if McDaniels goes off or Randall, and let's say Randall scores 35 and Reeves goes over his own points prop, but is not the top scorer, that's the risk you run. But 30.5 is what you would need for -114, 29.5 at -137. So I think I'd rather just do Reeves top score at 159 because he could lead the game in scoring at like 28 points, something like that.
Now, when you've got a guy who has so much volume, I'm just going to use Minnesota for an example here, Doug. You've got Ant out. Obviously, that's a lot of shots per game that now are going to get distributed to other guys on the roster. And they have some guys that, when they get hot, can hit tons of threes. I mean, DiVincenzo can get hot. Naz Reid can get hot. Julius Randle. Is that something else you can look at here? Like, because DiVincenzo is kind of where he always is. He's 3.5 plus 102 to the over with the threes. Naz Reid is over 1.5, but it's -159. You can get him for 3 threes at 165. Like, there's a lot more shots available with no Ant in the lineup.
One game they played, they were up at halftime against the Nuggets, and then they got blown out second half. And that's just, different animal with facing Denver. And so this Laker team, I expect them to be more competitive, but you're right. Like, I think they're well coached. Let's not forget that. He does a wonderful job. And I just don't know where the offense is going to come from. I mean, I do know where the shot volume is going to come from. I just don't know how much they're going to be able to generate. But again, it's one game. Maybe they practice. I think they're going to get better during this stretch without Ant. They're going to get used to playing without him. It's not a one-off situation. But I just think, I mean, if this game is under, like I lean, Reeves could be the top scorer at like 25 points. So that's why I
Yeah.
liked the prop at -159. In terms of the props, I mean, Mike Conley's well past his time, his peak. Rudy Gobert in the last game was a -18, but that's because he was matched up with Jokic, the dominating. A little different situation. I think it's too many points. I like the Lakers plus the 7.5, and I like the under.
Let's go a couple other games here tonight in the NBA. Like we said, if there's 10 games overall, besides those 2 that are going to be on the TV doubleheader, the Pelicans, who have been, let's just say, horrible so far. They're 0-3
Very.
into Denver against the Nuggets. Minus 12.5 at Bet Rivers, 239.5 the total.
It's hard to lay this kind of wood in the NBA, but I think these are special spots. Pelicans are horrible. I don't know how they get any points. I mean, I'm assuming Zion's out. He's listed as questionable. So that's I mean, they're still going to lose with him, but he's questionable with a foot injury. I don't know why you would play him in this game against Denver, like one of the best teams in the league. Um, I mean, they've been getting blown out by a lot of teams with Zion. The last game they played the Celtics and lost by 32 without him. I think this is going to be a 30-something game. Jordan Poole stinks. I'm not a fan of Jeremiah Fears. Uh, Nisi starting against Jokic, like good luck. I do like Herb Jones a lot, but he's an excellent defender. This is gonna feel like one of those Wizards games from last year with Jordan Poole chucking 15 to 20
Mhm.
shots. They stink, man. Like they're just bad. I feel bad because I have a buddy who's an assistant coach for them, and I hope keeps his job. But man, there's not a lot to like with this Pelicans team. I think they get boat race. You factor in the altitude and all that stuff. Oof, it could be really bad. I mean, there's always a chance Denver plays with their food like they did the last game. They were down like 7 at half. Now they came all the way back and covered the original number, but they only won by 13 and playing the T-Wolves without Ant. I just think they could roll them here. It should be an absolute beatdown. They got Portland on deck, but that's Portland and it's Friday. It's not like they have a national TV game tomorrow. So I think the Nuggets are the right side here.
Herb Jones can't guard everybody, Doug. He can't guard
No,
the
he
whole
cannot,
team. So
especially a guy by the name of Nikola Jokic.
and when you have Jordan Poole out there, we know he can't guard anybody. Jordan Poole. So you have a lot of liabilities for the Pelicans out there on the court. The Hawks are in Brooklyn tonight against the Nets. Hawks minus 8.5 on the road. Nets haven't been too pretty either. I know we were talking about the Pelicans. The Nets have been pretty bad. 238.5 is the total.
Yeah, this Nets team is really bad. Much like the Pelicans, they're also winless. One of 3 teams that are winless, along with the Indiana Pacers. Hawks kind of can't mess around with this kind of team, and the Nets start out really badly. They're a horrible first quarter team. So I'm just gonna. We did it the other night with the Rockets. I'm gonna do it again with the Hawks. First quarter spread and first quarter team total over. So it's 2.5 and then 32.5. I think that's the way to roll here. Now, do I think the Hawks pull away and win by double digits? Sure, sure. But I think the line value, the edge, worth the juice, is in the first quarter.
Yeah, Nets have been so brutal. And that's the same spot, like you said, the other night with Houston. First quarter, bang, jumped on the Nets pretty early. We can go and get ourselves involved. All right, couple for me, Doug. Let me know what you think. Memphis is in Phoenix tonight against the Suns, just after 10 o'clock East tip here. Kind of like the Grizz minus 1.5. I did get to watch the Suns a little bit the other night. You weren't kidding. They stink too, the Suns. And I know the Grizzlies aren't the Grizzlies of a couple years ago, but I'm willing to take them here. Short road favorite minus 1.5. I just think they're the better team.
I understand that. They got some things to work out there in
Yes.
Phoenix. I don't like this Memphis team. I think they're annoying, but they are playing. They're annoying with like their chirping over the years with the Warriors and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
But I think this version is playing really hard. And as long as Morant's in the lineup, he's dynamic. I don't know how good he is. He can't shoot that well, but he's dynamic. Triple J is awesome. Love his game. And they always find guys. Jalen Wells is an outstanding defender they found last year and had him guard like all the great guards. And then this guy Coward off the bench, Cedric Coward, he's supposed to be at Duke. Instead, he's playing for the Grizzlies. It's crazy. But this front office is the best. I honestly think they found Triple G, and they found all these guys, man. They've been so good at scouting. I've really been impressed. Even Aldama, has found a home there. So there's a lot to like with the Memphis, what they do. And when the bar is set lower, like facing a team like Phoenix, I think that is the right side.
The other one that kind of caught my eye is back-to-back nights on the road for Sacramento, in Chicago against the Bulls. And look, I don't like to make a habit of laying 5 points with the Bulls, Doug, but this spot against Sacramento at home, obviously we got a lot of guys who used to play for both teams on the floor as well with all the trades they always make with each other. 238 flat the total. I'm going to lay the 5 with the Bulls tonight. I just don't like Sacramento back-to-back nights.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. No Kobe White yet for Chicago, and that's a big number, like you said. Five's, by the way, for those who are unfamiliar with NBA betting, five is the most key number. We talk about key number in NFL betting. Obviously, it's not as key as the three in the NFL, as in like 15% of games land three. But it is the most common margin of victory. So five's a key number. Sacto, not good at all, but they do have a lot of like players, and the Bulls have a lot of no names. But I mean, Vucevic he was 1 assist shy of a triple double the other night. I thought about this. There's just better bets. You got to be careful with the NBA sometimes. But yeah, I do think that's like a good play.
And there's one that I'm not going to probably go with, but it caught my eye and I thought about it. But Toronto let me down the other night. They let go of the rope in the second half and didn't get me that over. It's 232.5 Rockets and Toronto tonight. I mean, considering how these games have been flying, Houston's been scoring a lot of points. That's not too bad either, I think, for the total wise tonight, 232.5.
And not a lot of defense being played right now in the NBA.
No,
I'll say
yeah.
that. Now, Okogie's now starting tonight, and he started the other night, I want to say. And I think they're not having Steven Adams. So the double big lineup, um, and I'm just going to answer that one. This was not about a Rockets first quarter over trend. It was more of a bet against the Nets defense the other night. That's why I did it the other night as my best bet, but that's why I'm not necessarily doing it tonight. I don't like under, but so yeah, Okogie's playing. So their double big lineup is a really high net rating, but it clogs the paint. And that's the problem because Sengun and Adams they're not like a stretch four, stretch five. So
Right.
that's why they're playing with their starting lineup a little bit. Ime Udoka will figure it out. The problem is really Reed Shepherd is just horrendous
Oh,
defensively. I mean, I honestly think he looks like a guy they picked out of the crowd to play some defense. He looks so bad and lost out there, and they're hunting him too. He's so tiny. Obviously, he can shoot and he's competent offensively, but man, it's a real liability. So I can see over for sure in this game.
Bet Rivers tonight, NBA midweek live profit boost. Log in to your Bet Rivers app and receive an NBA live profit boost upon logging each Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday during the promotional period. NBA midweek live profit boost tonight on the Bet Rivers app. Log in and get involved. Plenty of NBA, 10 games tonight around the association to go through. Not as many games, Doug, on the ice. 16 last night, as we mentioned at the top. Did pretty good with a couple spots in the hockey. Then we lost a couple others, but only one game for us here this evening. The Maple Leafs and the Blue Jackets both played last night. Get together in Columbus. Minus 130 for, wow, this has moved up a lot. Minus 130 for the Jackets now. It's like 110 earlier this morning. And the 6.5 for the total. The Leafs have played 2 sets of back-to-backs already, Doug. Both second nights way over, and they won both games. Columbus has played 1 set of back-to-backs. Second night, way over. So lots of scoring in the second night of back-to-backs. And these two teams generally with each other do it anyway. I think it's one play. It's over 6.5, Toronto and Columbus in the hockey.
All right, so that's sort of the trend if both teams are on back-to-backs.
Yeah.
Not a lot of extra effort on defense is what you're saying.
Look, I think that there's some teams around the league where that's not always going to be the case. I think if you're Dallas, if you're Florida, if you're some of the better teams, the more structured teams, I don't know if that works. But when you got some more of the run and gun teams and you throw both of them together, both of them playing a second night of a back-to-back, you could see it going. In fact, Doug, I wouldn't be surprised early. Maybe we get this going early. If you want to do a little first period, up and away, I think you'll probably see them out to a bit of a quick jump tonight. So there you go. Leafs and the Jackets this evening. Yeah, Leafs plus 105. They're a little bit better than Columbus, but I think I'm just going to stick with the total. No point getting involved anywhere else there. If you, of course, like what you hear, wait 1 second here. The Crooked Chef. Do we think we'll start seeing more sevens? No, I do not. You never see sevens for the NHL.
You need 8. They moved the juice. They
Yeah.
learned that during the Black Sunday Super Bowl in the 70s with the Steelers and Cowboys. They moved points and not juice.
Right.
So especially like, over unders that don't have, it's not like an NBA total. They'll just move the juice. They'll just move the juice.
Right. So like you get a couple teams, Chef, that really light it up, and you get them on a night where it's over 6.5, Doug, probably like minus 160, 170. Like they'll just keep banging that thing up, and they won't put it on a 7 pregame. That's just not somewhere that they're going to go.
Well, I mean, once in a blue moon, if the scoring gets there and it's a matchup, but no, not on a regular basis.
If it's like that night in Toronto where you've got like the popcorn vendor filling in at goal as the emergency goalie, and you have a couple of things, you get some really crazy stuff go through. Maybe we can get it. If you like what you hear on our shows, and of course you do, make sure you sign up for the Betting Weekly newsletter. Get exclusive tips and the free Insider magazine. Sign up for free at bettingweeklystudios.com. Make sure you go and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Right there, bettingweeklystudios.com, getting involved. All right, we have college football as well on a Wednesday night for us. Couple games here. We'll start Jacksonville State visiting Middle Tennessee. We've gotten to see a lot of these teams now over the last couple of weeks. Right now, -3.5 for Jacksonville State, total 54.5.
Yeah, I'm not really, like, excited about these matchups like I was yesterday. I lean to the over here. The problem is Middle Tennessee kinda can grind it out, but they find the way to score enough for these overs. They don't go under every game, but they are a low-scoring team. This Jacksonville State defense and offense wants to play these high-scoring games. I'm just not in love with the play because if Middle Tennessee dictates things, then it's a 24-21 game. But it's only a lean. But Jacksonville State, they find themselves in these shootouts. So that's why, I'm leaning that way.
I'm with you. I think it's the only way I would go if I was going to this game tonight. But you look at some of these Middle Tennessee games, and they do kind of have the tendency to drag you in the mud, right? 24-16 with Kennesaw, 22-20 with Missouri State. Like, they have a couple of these sluggish games. I
Yeah.
think we're leaning that way just because we think that, like, we want it to be Jacksonville State's pace, pretty much. We want Jacksonville State to be able to dictate the up and down that we can get this evening in that one. So a little Conference USA for you, as well as FIU and Missouri State, which we'll get going. That's just after 8 o'clock East. Missouri State now -3 at Bet Rivers, flat 50 for the total there.
And a simple lean here, but it's FIU plus the points. This Missouri State team has been a little smoke and mirrors at times. And I just feel they're sort of going to be, I don't know, like the truth is going to come out. I felt that way last week with the Western Kentucky game, and frankly, I felt it. I felt it last week in certain situations. I just feel at some point if a team's coming off a big win, there should be some regression, right? And I don't think much of this Missouri State team. They play a lot of low scoring games too. And FIU, remember, they're the team that beat Western Kentucky, held them out of the end zone as a double digit dog. Just a fluky performance. The next week they lose by nearly 20 to Kennesaw. But I think they kind of right the ship a little bit, and they're still playing hard. Again, it's a lean, only a lean, but I'll take the points.
I like the under. I don't think either team can score much. Look at that. They're both 22 and 22 in terms of points per game on the offensive side. A couple of these games have been some rock fights that they've been in. When FIU does play well, as you just said, like the Western Kentucky game, they hold teams off the scoreboard. I'm going to go under 50 tonight, Doug, in that one. Hopefully we can get ourselves a little rock fight out at Missouri State later on.
See that for sure.
Yeah, let's go. In fact, everybody could eat. How about an FIU win outright in some ugly 17-14 game for us? There you go. I just set it all up for us, Doug. I put it right on the platter. FIU to cover and the under. If only it were that easy.
We have some breaking news. Donovan Mitchell downgraded to questionable. What does this do for your Celtics? I'm definitely off the Cavs. I'll tell you that right now. That line's at 2. Boston at home. If there's no Donovan Mitchell, I'd probably fire on Boston.
Yeah, it definitely takes the Cavs off the board for me. From what we've discussed earlier,
Right.
and Bet Rivers moves it to -2, as you said. Total still at 233.5. Yeah, it's out now, Doug. It's just out. How about the under? You get the under now with Mitchell not in there?
And Celtics love pushing. They want to run and gun. Simon's off the bench. You never know. I wouldn't bet over, but I'd be a little careful just assuming that because Celtics could be just, like a piranha, sharks seeing blood in the water here, and they could go for 150.
I forgot to bring this up when we talked about the game. I was looking at player props for it earlier, and I didn't realize how awful Pritchard's been from downtown so far this year. I think he's like 5 or 6 for 28 combined in the 4 games.
He's
Like,
not wide open off the facing the second unit. Have other stars around him. It's a little different, and he's driving some more too. But yeah,
I was kind of thinking when's like maybe we could catch a 3 number on a night, but it didn't feel like it was there yet tonight for him. It didn't feel maybe we need another game or two where he goes 1 for 7 and like he's been going in these games, and maybe we can catch him on a night against a bad team with maybe a lower number. But there it is, 3.5 at plus 120 to the over for Pritchard tonight. But it's a different, like you say, it's a different situation for him. He's being asked to do more with different personnel for the other team on the floor. So it's not going to be easy for him to make 5, 6, 7 threes in a little spurt like he used to do, the kid. But that caught my mind, Doug. It was the wheels were turning this morning looking at Pritchard props.
yeah. I mean, I believe in him still too as well. Right, reigning sixth player of the year. Um, he's just going to have to find his little nooks and cranny as he starts and things like that. He's just still a great shooter, and he's got incredible work ethic. I don't think he's been exposed or anything. They're just got to figure it out, and it's only a few games in. So I like your thought to kind of seize an opportunity.
Yeah, we'll see if another 2 for 7 tonight, 1 for 7, and then we'll look at him for the next game. Finish off the college. There is 2 games tomorrow night. Marshall and Coastal, Tulane and UTSA. So a little American action and some Fun Belt tomorrow night with both of those. So we do have some college tomorrow for you. UTSA getting it home. Tulane's been pretty good. Tulane's now in the mix, Doug. So they're now in the mix to maybe get that group of 5 spot. They were actually the top on the make the playoff board. I saw Tulane was ahead of they're ahead of USF now. They're ahead of Memphis now. So they're kind of the team in the driver's seat on there, I guess you could say, if they were to win out.
A lot of things going on, with all these teams. Group of 5 is always something interesting to keep an eye on and how it stacks up, because rarely do these teams win out here and there, because they always kind of trip up because there's like the big conferences, there's parity here and there. Nothing jumps out to me. I touched on it earlier in the week with Tennessee at 60-1. I the ACC could be in shambles if there's a way where one loss Miami doesn't reach the conference title game. Virginia does, Louisville does, so it's kind of a mess. The ACC could muck things up, but the SEC is getting such sort of favoritism, at least from the AP rankings. We'll see what happens when the playoff committee gets together. But that's sort of my thought process. You're still at this juncture of the season. We're still October. It's long shots or pass for me. It's only kind of long shots. That's all I want at this juncture of the season.
Let's get to the best bets for tonight. We mentioned we got World Series Game 5. We've got 10 games in the NBA, 1 hockey, 2 college football. For me, Doug, I feel I'm going with Blake Snell tonight. I'm going with the Dodger offense, jumbling things up. Second time seeing you, Savage. Just got a feeling that's got like 5-1 Dodgers. I'm going to lay the 1.5 tonight in Game 5, and they take a 3-2 lead going back to Toronto for Game 6.
Right. I hope you're right as a Dodger fan. I think it's a lot to ask. This Blue Jay team is certainly formidable, and the Dodgers should be able to get to the guy now that they've seen him. Yes, Savage. So I'm going to go the Denver Nuggets. It's a big number. You're not going to get Rich laying this kind of wood in the NBA, but I think this situation calls for it. Zion is questionable. I do not expect him to play. You have altitude. You have a bad Pelicans roster. And this Denver team on Saturday did play with its food a little bit with Phoenix, and then they stepped on the gas. They're really good, man. Like, they're really good. And it's not just Jokic. They have surrounded Murray's been had a 43-point night the other night, I believe. I think they roll this team. They can take leads from 8 to 17 really quickly. And like the guys who are front, Porter Jr.'s gone, like they're just more polished and more reliable. So that's why I feel better laying this kind of number.
The Daily Double on Betting Weekly Live for Wednesday night, which is having a good start to the week. 2-0 for the Daily Double. So Dodgers run line -1.5, Nuggets -12.5, We're going up the ladder here, Doug. We stayed in a little zone, 240, 250. Now we're bumping up, thanks to me with this run line, 282 with the Dodgers and the Nuggets tonight. Try to make it 3 for 3 with the daily double. Let's go, Doug.
Like I said, we can retire if we continue to hit these daily doubles, and it's so easy, right? You just hit a bet every day. That's all you got to do.
That's it. I mean, it's just and the good thing is we're picking the right best bet. Both of us with one tonight. I need more than one hockey game to put a hockey game in there, so that's why we went with that. So daily double, Dodgers run line, and the Nuggets minus 12.5 tonight against the Pelicans. All right, Doug. Have a great night. Enjoy all of the action. Going to be a lot of fun. I'm pumped for this World Series game. I think it's going to be awesome. We've got lots of NBA too. We're back tomorrow, of course, with Betting Weekly Live on a Thursday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. Pacific. We will start NFL week number 9. Don't forget that, as we will have the Ravens and the Dolphins in Miami. And I would guess, Doug, the return of Lamar Jackson, right? I mean, they held him out.
Sure looks that way. Sure looks that way. Although, can we trust a report, an injury report from Baltimore?
Probably not. But another number here. We're going to have around a touchdown with Miami at home after a win on the road in Atlanta. We will have that to discuss. And, of course, we got some NBA and some NHL on the card tomorrow night as well. Betting Weekly Live, Mike Carver, Doug Kezirian, Betting Weekly Studios, part of the Bet Rivers Network. Everybody have a great night. We will see you back here tomorrow.